Hello and welcome to this week's episode of The Desk, where actually we're going to be discussing and tackling a lot that has happened during this COVID. It's actually coming to close to 2 years now. Last year, which is 2020, coming to the end of February, something unprecedented, something happening for the very, very first time happened, where the country went into lockdown. Actually, the country is an understatement. The globe went into lockdown. Nobody was moving, and because of this occurrence, a lot of things have been hit. Businesses have been hit, costs have been cut, employees have been cut, people have lost jobs. Now, till date, education and entertainment, there's actually nothing to talk about. People that were teachers are now in bricklaying. The students themselves have gone to marriage, and some of them are accidentally pregnant. Whether accidentally or deliberate, I don't know. Also, they have been forced into marriages. Now, people have actually gone into survival mode. Now, tonight on The Desk, ladies and gentlemen, we discuss how the pandemic has pushed people into survival mode, how people changed careers, how they left where they were comfortable and where they were passionate to things that actually put food on their plate. Now more than ever, I'm yours truly, Shadrach Shagaf Kisame. On set tonight, I'm joined with two brilliant people. One is a lady, never been here before. The next is a gentleman, never been here before, Joan Nachimuli, and Mathew missed. Was missed before the pandemic, or it's post-pandemic, now it's missed?
It is after pandemic. That's when I got the name called Mist. But back then, when I was still in high school, I used to call myself Asher Raymond. Yes. But now, Mist came in after the pandemic. But I used to be called Mathew, because I had a career, and that was education. I was much into education. And the only thing I knew is back then it was education, then go for facilitation, go to schools, teach them a lot, all those kind of things are the ones that actually had.
So I bring in Joan at this point now. Before we even go to the remedies and everything, so we're figuring out how it was in 2020. No one had seen this come. In January, if you had told me, January of 2020, if you had told me this was going to happen, I would slap you.
Exactly.
But here we are now, coming to 2 years later, and schools have not opened up, businesses have not opened up, businesses are closed. People are now in survival mode. Are you experiencing this yourself? Are you in survival mode?
I would say I'm in survival mode because before the COVID, I was totally a business lady.
You were in business?
I was in business. Right. I had a shop. I was running a business, having a lot of things.
Right.
Now, once we went into lockdown, we had no means of earning, but you had to spend. Whereby you're not spending on yourself only, but you have a number of people looking at you to feed them. So even the little you have for capital was put into spending. So at the end of the lockdown, you have nothing.
So let's talk about your shop. Rent. Were you still paying rent during lockdown? How did you even survive that?
We were on standstill for rent. I mean, we are not working. Shops are closed. But then the money was what we're using for the lockdown. Even home, when you're called, mommy is like, I have nothing to eat. You have to get the money and give them. Because you cannot tell them I don't have anything. You've been working.
So you spent the money for rent?
For rent and capital, everything.
To others?
To others and to yourself.
So what happened in your mind when they first locked down the first few months? You were like, okay, this is going to happen for
At
like
first
a month?
I thought it was probably for a few weeks and probably to a month. But then all of a sudden it is like 2 months, 3 months. So you sit down at the end of the day and you're like, what is going to happen tomorrow? Not if this little money I saved aside, the capital and everything is done. What are we going to do next? You don't know what to do next because you're not so certain of who you're going to call to come in and save you, because they're also down.
Because everyone is down.
Everyone is down. They're seated home. All they do is watch TV and sleep. So you're not having any backup to yourself, but to save yourself out in any way.
I want to bring in Mist a little bit. Okay. Oh, Mathew. You were a DOS, Director of Studies in a school. Young man who has studied real quick from campus, fortunate enough being a teacher, fortunate enough being promoted to the Director of Studies. So let's just talk about your sector, or former sector, now that you're in survival mode, was hit badly. And because let's look at the stakeholders the number one stakeholders who are the students.
Yeah, the students.
Before we even go to you teachers, how you're now in survival mode, the students, half of your population, people pregnant, they are in marriages, abavubuka batandise simanyi kola chi.
They are devastated.
What does this mean? Yeah, what does this mean to you who was passionate about education? This is where you are working. What does this mean to you now?
Literally, I feel so demoralized. I feel so down because the people I used to call kids, I call them parents.
Yeah.
Right.
At a very tender age, they are producing children,
right,
giving off offsprings, and I think they're not ready for that. It's because of certain reasons, that their parents are not there for them, because they're looking for something, because they're the breadwinners. But again, I feel so bad because they are not in school, and it's where we've been taming them. Yeah, I think it is so bad that children at home, they're not in school, they're getting pregnant, they're becoming parents at a very tender age.
Right.
So bad.
Do you think the education system or sector will recover? Because last time the Minister for Education, is actually the First Lady also of the Republic of Uganda, was saying that we shall automatically promote. Now, this automatic promotion means we're bringing half-baked professionals. Yeah. Do you think we shall recover from this?
Personally, I think we shall recover from this as long as we go for the vaccination.
No. Before vaccination, before we even go to vaccination, the kind of professionals that are coming.
To me, I feel it will be in a long run to get back to the sector the way we went to school every year, and we were promoted based on your hard work.
Right.
Exactly. Now, it is going to be so hard for these forthcoming, like probably 5 years, because these kids don't know what they're doing. I recall I met my sister home last time and I asked her, she was in senior 2 by the lockdown came in, so I was like, which class are you? And she was like, oh, actually, I'm not so certain of what class I'm in because I'm having notes of senior 3 and senior 2. So they're not so certain. That means for the coming years, we are going to bring out half-baked
professionals, because you are a docent. We were having people, no lockdown, nothing, but they are failing to pass. You find a kid repeating a class twice. So now with lockdown and there's automatic promotion,
and they're not reading,
we won't be able to sieve, because school has been helping us to sieve the bright, the efficient, the hardworking from the ones that are not.
On that point, I think you're right, because they're not going to be promoted based on merit, but they're going to just be
because of circumstance.
Yes, because of circumstance, and that is literally bad. It's not in order to just promote people. All I urge is when the schools reopen, I think let them go back to the very classes, because they've been at home, they've had nothing.
Isn't that selfish?
Because that is selfish, and then we are going to have a few classes that are missing out on the curriculum because there are senior 4s that sat. Their UCE and senior 6,
because
then there are classes that are missing.
But still, they are going to be missing a certain point. No, because when they just get promoted, they are missing certain content. I don't know how we are going to meditate this, but
you know why the meditation is actually very easy, very hard is we have parents involved, stakeholders, parents. We have the students themselves. I don't know if you can take a person who was in senior 2 back to senior 2 after 2 years. So there's a lot at stake.
Even the school themselves are totally in loans and losses right now. So if you tell them to get back to senior 2, you find another school saying, no, actually, I will take your kid to senior 3 if you give me this amount of money.
Right.
So that means some schools are going to lose out and other schools are going to gain. And then also back to the parents, some parents are going to feel you paying for your kid 2 years in the same class, it doesn't add up.
Let's paint a picture. What if you are still in school as a student?
What would you do?
And someone proposed that on national TV that after 2 years, go back to the class where you were.
That would be very challenging, because what I think at that very moment is that I need to go forward. But when I reach forward, I think it is going to be hard for us to produce quality students or quality
professionals,
professionals, because we want to rush them. And we cut down what the elapsed time that we've lost in the 2 years. But I think let us just let's just bear with it. Let the kids not miss out with the content. Yeah, they go back to the very classes we're in.
Now, the government of Uganda last time introduced online studies. Now, after the break, let's talk about the validity, whether the efficiency of the online studies to the students that are at home. Now, do not go away. The desk takes a break, and the desk actually returns in a bit. Welcome back. Now, if you're just joining us, I'm afraid you've missed the very first, insightful and also educational, but also very informative segment of the desk. Now, this week's desk, we're talking how people have actually moved into survival mode during the lockdown and then post the pandemic, as some people want to call it, the pandemic. I don't want to believe in conspiracies. Otherwise, you can follow this very lovely discussion on our social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And remember, we are on the road. We are in Bugolobi. It's an exclusive at Casa de Roy. Now, many thanks to Casa de Roy for giving us this exquisite place to shoot, sensitize the nation, and then also talk to people. Now, you can find Casa de Roy in Bugolobi at Luthuli Avenue. Now, we're here and we're having a conversation. We're trying to find out why and how have people been pushed to this survival mode. Be it students, we're talking about the survival mode of the students. Their survival mode being online studies. A lot of comments have come out with the validity, the efficiency, and the value addition of these online studies. From you guys, I want to start with you, Joan. As we were discussing, Mist was saying, guys should go back and study because he believes they've not gotten what they ought to get. But government will tell you, we are automatically promoting because we believe these people have been studying online. There were radios given to villages. Let's just dig deep into that.
With this topic, I'm totally into it. Why? Because I have a sister in school.
Right.
Now, and she does online studying.
Right.
It is not effective, though she has the resources of a phone, a laptop, data, and everything, but it is not effective.
So that data, before you continue, that data and these gadgets, for the record, are provided
by the parents.
With
the parents.
Okay.
And then at the end of the month or for weeks, you're meant to pay sort of school fees for that time frame. So you have to pay school fees, and then you have to provide data every day.
Right.
She's not meant to do anything from morning to sunset, just to be in class, online classes. But at the end of the day, she's not grasping anything.
Why do you think she's not
it's an online class. No one is around her telling her you've got to be serious.
Right.
And this is a gadget whereby she could form any type of, in school you would form any type of cartoons in your bed to fly out and do whatever you want to do.
Right.
Now she could also do any mannequin there.
Yes.
Sit, and the teacher thinks this is the student in class, and she does her own things.
That's what I want to bring in.
It's not effective.
That's what I want to bring in. Misty, who was a teacher and a dose. Let's say you were still in education and you are teaching. How would you make sure this is it? How would you be efficient as a teacher teaching online?
Okay. Before even saying the word online, physically teaching in class is also difficult as a teacher. Why? You could be explaining something, the other is pinching someone else. You understand? You're already physically you're there, but again, people are not concentrating. You understand what I'm talking about? The teacher is physically in class, but the children are not concentrating. Now, what of the online?
Where you have no control.
It's a maze. No control. There is no physical.
There is nothing like physical. The teacher is there. You can even...
You're miles away.
Yeah, you can even affect that the internet is buffering.
Yeah.
You understand?
So there are a lot of excuses.
Yes. Lots of excuses running in.
Yeah, someone is explaining online. For you, if they ask you the question, you can choose to pause. And they'll be like, we've lost him. You understand? You've lost him. So it is just comic when it comes to the internet, when it comes to the online studies, because there is no a lot of seriousness.
But from your education background, was it a good initiative now that the times were hard?
Back then, we used to like the gadgets to be introduced in schools, But again, we need the guidance of the teachers physically as we explore the gadgets. But now, since the people are just doing the online thing,
right,
it is hard. It is very hard to study when you're just self-guided. First of all, there are some terms that are taught online. You have to read through. But if the teacher is in your presence, you can be like, teacher, but I've not understood this. But now this one, there is a terminology that they've used. You have to again research, and children are still very young.
To add on that, do you realize that not every student or not every kid has access to these online classes?
Talk about it.
You could find a class of 100 students, but just 50 could have access. Then what is the 50 doing?
Last week I had two young men from Chambogo University, and we were actually shooting right here, and they were saying on the show, they were saying, can you imagine this lecturer calls for an online class, and then they are somewhere in the farm, and then all of a sudden he was on there for like 30 minutes, and then after, lecturer left. So they called the group leader, coordinator. They're like, hey, what happened? The lecturer has called me that he doesn't have data.
Really? But that still cuts across to even parents.
Right.
If you as an individual, you could fail to have data for yourself, not just for yourself,
the
teacher,
then how about
the lecturer,
you as a parent to provide for your kid every day? I mean, it's not that of just 50 MBs.
Yes.
It would take a GB
Yeah.
for a day or 3 GBs.
Yeah.
So you're meant to have, and I think a GB is at 5,000 per now.
Right.
Families are not earning, but you need to provide the 5,000 per day.
So education is becoming really,
totally
really
expensive.
But isn't that the much that you people were paying in these schools where you are? Because think about it, someone pays school fees of like 2 million.
But we were earning, we were paying the 2 million, the 1 million, but we had access to the teachers
yes,
at all times.
You pay 2 million, but it's not worth it. We had the presence of the teachers. They used to guide us. But now when you're out of school, you're just online, you're paying the 2M. It is not worth it.
Should we now? I introducing now something very important about the online community, or the international community. This is something they've been doing prior. You know, learning online. When you go to countries like Asia, the teacher is demonstrating from the other side. You're on your tablet or computer. You're demonstrating from this side, even practical things. So, do we think our children are just so slow? Our Ugandan students are just so slow that they can't adapt?
They are not slow, but even for that online or even in class, it needed someone that is so resilient and hardworking to gain from what the teacher is teaching. Our students here and our fellow youth need to be so self-esteemed and resilient. You need to work hard to achieve what. Because I remember even at campus, you weren't pushed around to have a teacher or to go and attend the lecture, but you had to push yourself. So these kids need to, forget anything outside, whether there is TV, whether there is TikTok, Facebook, and whatever, but utilize the less time they have online and at least grasp something.
Right. Before we go for a short break, I want to bring you in Mist. Your survival mode. She was in business, now she's in something else.
Yeah.
I saw some of your fellow teachers last time on TV, and they're in bricklaying,
chapati making.
I saw another one washing cars in what's that place when you're going to Nakawa, that roundabout. He was washing cars, yet his school was somewhere nearby. So his students would pass by and like, hey, teacher.
Yeah.
Let's just talk about you now as teachers who like the survival mode. This thing has been so deadly.
And let me just question. Do you also still think of going back to teaching?
No way. Before going to that point, of how I've been surviving, like I used to earn everything, I used to earn everything, go for facilitations or something. But when COVID hit, I had to pay for rent. You get what I'm saying? I used to be the breadwinner for some people. Now, even after COVID had hit and everybody had understood that, we've lost jobs, still I had to put something on the table. And when people realized that at least I had shifted to music, that I'm earning something, again they would call in, guy, we need something. I used to breadwin for them. So it has been hard for me from the time that COVID hit to this time, because still people call in to be helped.
Do you miss teaching?
I miss teaching because it is fun. It is very fun.
So what would would you give the teacher who is watching you, and for them their level of survival is not, because at least for you look good, but there are others who it has hit them so bad they don't even look like you. What would you advise them as they survive post-COVID?
I think what I would advise them is not to, okay, they can be doing other jobs, but when it comes to, like, when they open up the schools, if they're in position to go back and teach, and they're able to, the school owners are able to pay them the match or even beyond what they used to work for, let them go back to teaching. But some people have lost morale, hope, and all those sorts of things.
The psychology.
They'll be like, no, I think I'm not worth being a teacher, let me go for something else. But I urge, if they don't have something to do that is bringing bread on table, the moment they open up, they can go back to teaching and they see how to go about it.
Right. Now then, government says, hey, 4.8 million people should be vaccinated so that schools, bars, clubs, everything resume. After the break, we throw more light on that. Don't go away. Welcome back. You're still on the continent's leading intellectual platform, actually the highest platform for solution finding. Yes, you guessed right, The Desk. We are on U24 television. Now you can follow this very lovely discussion on our social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Do it for Shadrach Kisame, do it for The Desk, and do it for U24 television. And by the way, guess what? We are in Bugolobi on the road. We are at Casa de Roy. And thank you very much at Su Ochola de Roy for giving us this place where we shoot. The last time someone was asking me that the statues, don't they scare you? I told them, no, they do not scare me. This is art. We're appreciating art. Someone took time, made that art, and it's a form of business. Now, you out there, you can still make your art. People like Casa de Roy, Su Ochola are still buying your art, and they're still exhibiting it. It's not dead, and you can still make money. Now, vaccination turns out to be the only remedy for this pandemic that is very unprecedented. Nothing has happened like this before. On the last COVID-19 address by His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni Tibahabura, he came out and said that 4.8 million people should be vaccinated, and then maybe perhaps we could open up the schools, we could open up places of worship, bars, and a lot of these gathering events. There's nothing to talk about. Let's just talk about events before we even talk about the vaccination. How do you think these people are surviving, really?
I also think because the entire entertainment industry is
shut
down.
Right.
So you assume they're not anywhere. Mm-hmm. It still triggers me when I'm like, what is going on with everyone that is under the from the artists to the events organizers to the promoters everyone, the DJs themselves.
The DJs. And you see, Matthew, now, when someone talks about events, we talk about the people you've listed, but when an event happens, when bars, we have waiters and waitresses, we have cleaners in those places, and those are the many people.
Service providers.
Like, think about all these people are left hungry and jobless.
Yeah, sure. When you talk about the point of how are they surviving, we've seen a couple of the bar owners dying of pressure, heart attacks, because they are paying loans, and again, some of them are not able to pay the loans.
Do the banks care?
No, to some extent they don't.
Banks don't care because...
Should they?
Preferably they should because we're all shut down. At some moment we're all shut down.
That point should be the government intervention. Because now, when it comes to bar owners, they have nothing to do. You shut down everything, and you're saying the due date for reopening is next year probably. So what are they going to be doing? Maybe when you tell them to go and get the money out of their other investments, like apartments or rentals or something.
But the people staying in these apartments are not working.
Jesus Christ! Because now it is getting.
Just know that the biggest percentage of people are not working.
Right. Yeah, I understand. But now the segment that is asking about is those people in there
in the entertainment
in
industry.
the entertainment industry.
So
The
you bring
waiters-
so you bring in a point and you say, okay, bar owners have loans. Should the bank care? Because it's also a business that is running.
I mean, you also feel that
I think the banks should care with the government intervention, because if the government does not intervene, the banks don't care. For them, they're business oriented. They will still be like, this is the due date for paying my loan. You talked about that. If you don't pay at this moment, I'm taking this. You get, they grab your stuff, they grab your land, your collateral security. So for them, they don't care.
So before we wind up the discussion, have you guys been vaccinated?
oh
Yeah, sure.
I was.
Okay, so these ones are pro-vaccine. So government says to open up all the frustration we've been talking about comes to an end after you guys vaccinate at least 4.8 million people. So, but there are conspiracies.
Like,
People are saying, I hear from out there, and a lot of people who are watching me have not vaccinated because of some of these things.
Yeah.
I hear the sinazala.
I know.
I
I had someone saying, I'm still a young girl, I cannot get vaccinated
because I won't give
I won't
birth.
give birth.
What do we attribute to this? Is this lack of sensitization?
Yeah.
What do we?
That is one. We lack sensitization from, first of all, the government itself,
Yeah.
and then from we people as individuals.
Yeah.
Because I assume, as a parent or as any other person, you'd feel you would need the urge to get vaccinated so that your sister or your kid goes back to school. I mean, that is the only way, the only solution we have.
Yeah.
You need to get vaccinated for all the sectors to get back to normal.
You locked, Mister, I bring you in. You locked me down because you wanted me to stay alive.
Yeah.
And then the vaccines have a health hazard or caution, and you still want me to get the same vaccine because you want me to open.
Okay, that is a bit tricky.
Yeah.
But let me
because
just...
people are not vaccinating not to get the because Shadrach, I'm vaccinating not because I don't want to get the COVID, but I'm vaccinated because I want them to open so I can
But Shadrach,
living.
Mr. Shadrach,
Yeah.
let me give you an example. This saga we in is what our grannies were in, dating back. And ask me what was that?
What was that?
When they introduced the polio vaccines, those vaccines, back then they were not sensitized. For them, they thought after the vaccination of polio, back then, our grannies, they thought they would not produce. They will not give birth.
So this is not happening for the first time.
It's not happening for the first time.
I mean, it's for any medication that comes
Yes,
on board.
coming.
If
They
it's
will
a new
always have
medication,
to put it. They will have to squeeze it on the wall. So even our grannies were like, polio. It's not a remedy. I think when you vaccinate us with polio vaccine, we're not going to be able to give birth.
Yeah.
But we're here.
After the vaccine.
Yes.
all I know
after
about
polio. But now no one can be okay. Let me say that no one cannot come out to just say that polio vaccine is bad or something of that sort, because it is proven right that when we get vaccinated with polio vaccine, we shall not get crippled kids.
Exactly. Now this brings me to
coming back to this this vaccine here. Again, we are bringing the same argument,
ideology, conspiracy
that this is a bad one. The thing will rotate around your body.
And I think it comes around with the side effects that when you get vaccinated, I as an individual, I got dizzy, I got headache, and I was weak for a few days, like 2 to 3 days. So if I was scared, I would rush to tell other people that I don't get vaccinated.
Right.
I mean, we also have friends out there.
So this is what I would want to ask from someone, because like he made a point, the polio vaccine, you never suffer from polio again. You're not at risk or anything.
Yeah.
But with COVID, when you're vaccinated, you're not certain you can get it again.
But then the percentage. The
percentage of what? Of the risk?
Of you getting COVID is a bit lower. More than someone who is not vaccinated at all.
Right.
If it was at 100%, someone vaccinated could be at probably 40. So you would rush to get vaccinated.
Mr. Shadrach. Let me assume that the COVID vaccine is a living vaccine. Where that they first put it, like lower its activity in the body. Then your antigens or antibodies will have to come and fight it, then they will stay in your body. That's why we get the mild fever,
the headaches,
but that is
because of the internal activity
the internal activity.
Right.
If you go back to biology, it's a living vaccine, so you will not expect that after the COVID jab you'll be that fine, because the body it has to manipulate with the body such that it fights. The antibodies fight off that COVID thing. You will have to get the mild fever or the headache. That is normal.
Right.
But after days, not even after days, after hours, you're fine.
So you're telling Ugandans go and vaccinate.
Go and vaccinate.
For what? For what? To avoid the risk of COVID-19, or because they should open up people are bad law?
The way we avoided polio is the way we're going to avoid this.
The first thing is the risk of COVID-19. Then the second is let it be a campaign to see other guys get back to work, to see that all sectors are fully open at one moment. Do it for your sister, do it for your brother, do it for your mother. We want to see our sisters and brothers go back to school in a joyful way, the way we went to school freely from Monday to Sunday. By Sunday, we would always get anxious to go back to school on Monday. Then we would want to see our sisters and brothers or mothers, that the DJs, the bars open, the artists get back to work. I mean, we miss their music, we miss their shows, we miss everything. It just takes a few minutes of you getting the job, and you'll be fine.
Okay, now as we wind up this discussion, there's something very interesting. When students were always in school, we were getting few numbers. The statistics were not as bad for early pregnancies and early marriages. But now that they're with their parents at home who love them a lot, they are getting into early pregnancies and early marriages. Should we say that we are not crediting the schools enough? I want to start with you. Have schools, what you guys were doing when you were in those schools, were you undervalued? The value they were attaching to you were doing more than parents can.
Yeah, for sure. Like when a child is brought to school, let me say a student, or a child brought to school, he has the tension that is there, that I'm always watched, I'm always surveillanced. Are you getting what I'm saying? Yeah, he's always timely. Everything is timely because he knows he's expecting something.
Yes.
But nowadays, parents do not mind about caning, apart from pampering their kids. You understand?
Yeah.
When they're at home, the parents are just doing them the world of good to just have fun or something of that sort.
Should we say that the parents' laissez-faire character has led to?
I always say that it has led to a number of kids messing up.
Right. Yeah.
So our parents need to get back on board. You need to talk to your kids.
Yeah.
Because you remember in school we had sex education, whereby we had senior women talking to us, plain.
But these days parents even fear to talk about sex education with their children.
I mean, it's sex education. You are trying to put. I remember when I was growing up, my mom told me, when you get pregnant, I'm not housing you. The moment you get pregnant, before you get done with school, I'm not housing you, and none of us is housing you, whether your grandmother or anyone. So I had it in mind.
So you can't talk about it with her. You can't talk boys, nothing.
No boys.
Right.
And the moment they find you with any boy around in any corner, let it be a neighbor, and they come and tell her, we've seen Joan out there. That is finished. Fire. So our parents need to get back on board and talk to all of us, to talk to kids. Sex education is so important.
Right. In times like this. Guys, our time is really, really fast spent. We'll have to wrap it up for here for this week. Missed your last words in under 30 seconds.
Under 30 seconds, guys. I would urge everybody to go and vaccinate, because it's now the way forward. It's not bad. Let's go vaccinate.
Joan, under 30 seconds.
Under 30 seconds. And now all I tell people is go vaccinate. Let it be a campaign. We need to push everyone there to go and vaccinate, all the eligible people to go and vaccinate, and parents. Sex education is important to all of us.
All right. Thank you very much. It is a wrapping match, ladies and gentlemen. It's been one of those exciting episodes here on The Desk. As usual, we bring to you what we call the intellectuality as it bombards. We talk about here and there to think what some of you think, because these are the reasons as to why we bring these people to air out what you people, some of you think. Now, these people came to The Desk because of the number on your screen. Now, to feature and advertise on The Desk, call the number on your screen, and we shall definitely be able to get back to you. Now, from me and the entire U24 management, would like to say thank you very much to Sue Ochola Deroy for this space, for us to be able to sensitize and shoot at Casa Deroy. Now, from me and the entire 24 management, still we want to say good night Good luck, adios for God and my country, and may the good Lord bless this beautiful Uganda. Now until next week, same place, same time, and of course same host. Good night.